maybe go off into the equipment world. At the same time, a guy, go run that equipment and let the CPAs handle their side of it. But at the same time, dude, they they're an expert at what they do. You're an expert at what they do. They're actively working on your books and there's CPA, accountant, and bookkeeping. There's 3 levels to that. It's a totally separate video, but go find a CPA to build strategy and tax plan with. But at the same time, if they have a bookkeeping service within there and you're first starting out and you're getting some consistent revenue going and it seems to like just be piling on top of you, then go ahead, reach out to that CPA service and go, hey, look, this is the plan, this is the strategy, but I honestly just need somebody. And then the next question is, well, do I hire somebody full time? In my honest opinion, let's go, Parker, man. Honestly, no, I don't think you should hire somebody full time. And I'm talking from a guy that had an entire admin team. I had 3 or 4 ladies in the office, and if there's no leading guide, that you've got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And why would you want to try and figure it out as you're losing money and you're not concentrating and producing over here? So I understand you think you might not be able to afford that person quite yet, but as soon as you get some good, consistent monthly revenue, go find that person, talk to them, and they'll start planning and strategizing with you, which is the number one thing that I didn't do starting out in this world. I didn't consider planning, strategizing. I considered it somewhat of a waste of time, right? So, boy, was I wrong. And I probably wouldn't have learned every experience that I have if I did plan and strategize a little bit more. But did we miss a comment in here already? What's going on? How do new business startups pay themselves was the first question. Let me make sure I didn't miss no comments. It's supposed to be a little interactive, isn't it? It's just different looking at the screen. Well, thank you very much for them shares. Dustin, fellow Arkansas here, would love to get together sometime and chat and learn. For sure, dude. Appreciate you jumping in, my guy. But you got a question? Shoot, for sure. Good. You haven't missed anything. Okay, cool. I'm going to roll on here to this next question from Spencer from Florida. I'm assuming he came in through the website, www.bluecollarbusinesspodcast.com. You can listen completely free from there. All of the episodes, I think we're at episode 43, I think. Go ahead.
I'll turn the volume down.
Oh, is it echoing?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
Podcast videos team, just killing it. Killing it.
You got it.
But if you don't have a full subscription to, say, Spotify or podcasts, I think is an app, or iHeart or Amazon or any of those, essentially. Oh. No? Either way. Sorry, guys. Spencer from Florida hit us with, if you run a family-grown landscaping and excavation business with strong local momentum, how do you decide whether it's time to scale further, especially when labor is maxed out and you're still handling most of the heavy equipment work yourself? Let me kind of paraphrase that for you, Spencer. If you run a family-grown landscaping and excavation business, so essentially I'm assuming there's a couple of family members running this together, with strong local momentum, how do you decide whether it's time to scale further, especially when labor is maxed out and you're still handling most of the heavy equipment work yourself? I don't know if he means by heavy equipment work, like as in he's actually out there operating, or, hey, thanks for that follow, my guy. I'm going to try and hit all of these through this process as well. But literally, if I'm going to go back to inside accounting, if you were sitting there and your inside accounting and your reporting is telling you, and you're getting a P&L and a balance sheet, and I know that sounds super high level, Spencer, at this point, because I was a family owned and operated business, still am. And I can understand and sympathize working with family because it's different for sure. But at the same time, if you're in the machine all the time, I would concentrate more on a training and onboarding process for your operators, so you can get yourself out of the machine, because that right there, you cannot work in the business while working on the business. There's no way to do it. I speak about it on the show all the time. It's too hard. One area is going to have slack and lose momentum, and doesn't sound like that's what you guys are looking for. You're looking to keep your momentum going here, but there's not a real sweet spot point of, oh, this is the time to do it. But if you're watching your inside accounting reporting, which, I haven't always been the best at either. And we've really focused on that over last year, especially through the election year. Things got very hard to deal with from all aspects and variables. But essentially, we focused up on inside accounting. And then this year we have been pushing even more. And I can tell you the difference of me having consistent, accurate reporting, what it can do for your business, especially as the owner, because it's like taking a test, but not really ever having the answer key, right? And me and my estimator were talking about that, because he's sitting there from the front of the house. We've bid so much work. We've been dragging through this year too. I mean, this year hasn't been an overabundance from the residual of last year. And we're waiting for work to just absolutely pile drive us and turn on, and it's fixing to, there's no doubt. But we need that data from the production side to basically give him that answer key to find out if, these jobs are staying unprofitable. Is he estimating it right from the get-go, or were we taking a bad number and trying to go make it a good number out in the field? Because you cannot take a bad number off the desk and try and go make it a good number. But that sweet spot, I would tell you, is number one, you need to focus on systems and processes and procedures, because if you're still out there, I'm telling this to myself 5 years ago, like, I was in that machine still. At the same time, I wish I would have focused more on the process and implementation and execution of what we're doing every day, so that somebody else that hops in the seat can just pick up and run with it, because nobody's going to sit there and take this out of your head unless you stick it on paper. They'll never be successful. They're always just trying to read your mind, right? So it's very hard for an employer to hire another guy and stick him in that operator seat and go, well, that guy right there, he's not doing it the way I would do it, or his production's not as much as I would do, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he's never going to be. Look up the book, Buy Back Your Time. Shout out to T-Dog, T-Money, old Trent Harris over Blue Collar. He says I say things out of that book all the time. It's on my ad list. But 80% of your time, okay, if you can do something 100% effectively, if somebody's out there giving 80% of what you can output as a owner of a business, I'm telling you, you better be thanking them, because they're doing everything they can. The 20% they don't even have knowledge of, because you haven't shared with them out of your head yet. Trust me, I know. I've done it. And the more transparent you get with your team, I know I may be going a little far off here from your question here, Spencer, but the more transparent you build with your team, the better success chance that they have, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It may not be good. It may, financials may be rough, and you may be going through a downtime, and but you got to band together, and everybody's got to see where we're going as a target goal. So I would get your family together, look at your P&L and balance sheet together. Hey, are we, we're getting an influx in landscape, hardscape projects. Maybe we don't go by the 285 skid steer, but maybe we go buy another dingo to make the labor side of it a little bit easier on the labor. That is, say we got 4 or 5 guys out there, if we can have a piece of equipment help and have 2 or 3 guys out there, that's kind of the things I'd be looking for to start elevating. Number one thing is sales, and keep sales coming in. I know you say momentum, but before you start scaling, you better have consistent month over month over sales and conversion rates to look at. I didn't do that. I had consistent sales, but I didn't have the conversion rates to sit there and look at when I was scaling. I took a big risk, And you can do that too. I mean, you absolutely can. If you've built a little bit of reputation around, I would definitely give it 2 or 3 years and set up these processes and systems and get your inside accounting to where it's spitting out reports every 30, 45 days so you can make a good judgment call. And those reports, said all that to say, those reports will tell you when it's give you a good inclination of when it's time to scale. There's also a lot to be said to being a visionary of being an entrepreneur and having the vision that nobody else gets. Your CPA doesn't get you a lot of times. Your marketing guy and CPAs, that they're never going to jive. It's those kind of equations that you don't know of yet. But hopefully that helped your question there, Spencer. You got a question for me? Jeremiah's in the comments down below. What's going on, Ashton? Thanks for joining us. Dustin, mainly needing to learn more about bidding commercial work. Okay, let me finish reading that here. Oh, dadgummit. How do I do that, Will? I'm going to get your question, Dustin. Thanks for hanging out. Man, we got quite a few followers. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Dustin said, mainly needing to learn more about bidding commercial work. We have been residential ag primarily. Well, my first question would be to you, what style of commercial are you going into? The retail space, more restaurants? Are we talking, multifamily? Are we talking subdivisions? What are we talking? And that is a question I didn't know either, and I didn't have the answer to, my guy. But I would find something so hard to cut your teeth in, but making that jump from residential to commercial earthwork is a huge, huge jump. But hopefully you guys do a little bit of pipe or maybe some septic work. You've got to find something that holds down the residential cash flow the residential thing that you're so good at right now. You've got to find a way to keep it, to start stepping off. And honestly, you're going to learn by mistake and by experience. Bid that commercial work, maybe find somebody in your area. I understand that they're not really too quick to give out information. Neither is this area, I can assure you, but that's literally why I'm doing what I'm doing currently sitting here right now. So, PlanSwift, I just did a video on our YouTube channel about all the softwares. Just check out SciCon. I think it's last week's video. Anyways, but it'll say PlanSwift and Builders Trend over my head. Go check that video out and some of the softwares that would help you kind of get from point A to point B. I think you'll find some value in that video and things that you're looking for. PlanSwift is a number one tool bidding into the commercial space. And but that's a totally different rabbit hole. You guys don't want to sit here and listen to that. What am I missing here? Yeah, 100%. But get PlanSwift. If you do utilities, man, start with PlanSwift and start venturing out a little bit in the pipe commercial world, my guy. That would be the first thing I would be doing. Maybe find 100-foot, 200-foot extension on, a retail establishment that's coming to town. Maybe get in front of a couple of these GCs that you kind of have an idea about, that's local to your area. Maybe you have somebody that works there that and hey man, I'm just looking for some small utilities. And guys like myself, when we're bidding a utility package, we want it all, right? We sometimes, especially when we're busy, we're not really going to be looking for that 80 or 100-foot because it's really hard to pull a full crew off of a 3, 4, 5 month job to go do a day or two job, right? So hit your GCs up and start very small on the utility side and see where that lands you, my guy. But I'm going to keep rocking and rolling here. I'm going to give me a little swig of sweet tea. Ooh, I guess I should have read. There's 2 parts to this question. Sam's probably screaming at me. There's another part. How do you grow a heavy equipment? This is the same guy. Operation with the person you want to. Hold on here. I had a stroke. How do you grow a heavy equipment operation when the person you want to promote is irreplaceable and it's hard to find someone new who cares about as much about quality as I do? Wow. Yeah. I totally understand, man. I got to let you know right now, nobody's irreplaceable, as I have found out, Spencer. You just, especially, key people in my operation that you would never think would leave, they're going to end up leaving. And, the hope is they're going to be there forever. But I think I kind of answered it a while ago when I was talking about processes and systems. Oh, we got some YouTube comments. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Oh no, got you. Following. Thank you. Um, anyhow, essentially, you've got to build systems and processes to get what's in your head and the direction and where you're wanting to go. Like that's exactly, you've got to get it on paper so somebody else can pick it up and read it and go, oh, that's what he means by quality control. He wants to, yeah, it's the little things that you don't think about, but the little things are what carry frustration points for yourself. And I don't know what quote unquote makes them irreplaceable. I understand being an entrepreneur. There's quite a few people here that I thought were just completely irreplaceable. But through systems and processes and procedures, I'm not saying that they are by any means. I love my people to death. Hope they never go anywhere. But reality is they're eventually probably going to move on, right? Hopefully you're a stepping stone and they've learned enough here. But I think, Spencer from Florida, you've got to work on some systems and processes. Work at it as a family unit, right? And don't just stick it on yourself. But man, you're asking the right questions, so just keep steadfast there, dude. I hadn't missed anything there. Okay. This one's from Sean from TikTok. Shout out to the TikTok stream. Drop a few likes if you got a minute, guys. Appreciate it. How to start your own business when your views are better. Okay, I'm trying to read this here. When your views are better than who you work for, but they're not a price business owner. Well, I don't quite understand that question, Sean. I'm sorry, my guy. Start your own business when views. All right, we'll go to Nick here. How do you determine 10% margin versus say 30% margin? Is this market driven? Nick from TikTok, dude. Excellent question. A question that I actually should have been asking a lot earlier in business myself. Our bids are not, yes, market is a part of the equation, but you cannot let the market drive your price. Right now, especially coming off the residual of the election and high interest rates and everything that we're dealing with, there's a lot tariffs. Like there's so many different variables that we're still dealing with, and the cost hasn't really redacted, right? So there's a lot of people out in the marketplace, and there's a lot of new guys out here trying to just jump into the commercial world or jump into the residential world, or the market oversaturation is something to also take away from this. But how do you fluctuate that margin? Well, crew availability. Okay, how busy are your crews? How much do they want to pay you to get the job done? Because I mean, if you're talking pure profit at that point, because a lot of people get in our heavy equipment world get 10% and 30% margin, but they're not even equating for indirect or overhead costs. I promise you, I was there myself until I went to a CPA that knows my industry and go, hey, dude, what are you doing where's your indirects? Where's your overhead? What's going to happen when that dozer slings a sprocket and you got to spend 25 grand? Where's that money going to come from? Like that has to be worked in, and they teach you how to do that. But crew availability, what kind of engineer are we dealing with? Are we dealing with a crappy engineer that's going to be freaking change ordering? From the last project, it wasn't drawn worth of crap, so then you change ordered it out. Or is it client? Is this just a client that you don't like working for? Like, have you done any work with them before and it just went crap? Did it take you forever to get paid? Did they, those are the types of things that are going to directly affect your margin. But we kind of have a go, no go matrix. But also, too, if you're needing work, your backlog also drives that margin. If you don't have as much work, you're going to have a lower margin. But where a lot of folks, including myself, get into a trap is they don't really adjust that margin. So you already ahead of the game here, Nick, by asking the question like, straight up, when you do get a bunch of work, adjust that margin. So that way you're not having to pull this guy off of here, pull that guy off of here, and you're just making the same amount of money. But that's kind of the way I would look at margin adjustment. It's, do you have to go rent a bunch of equipment to go do this high dollar paying job? Does it really wash out? Do you have enough rental in there? It's things like that all sway margin. Of course, rental is not part of margin. That's way up here in the line item expenses. But bidding a project with margin on it, man, you have to. And a lot of guys right now, I see things getting literally the term buy-in work. I've heard more in the last couple of months from GCs, general contractors, calling me up going, "Hey, man, we've bid like 62 projects this year. We got one." And I'm like, "Oh, what are you seeing up there on the dirt side? Like, is a bunch of stuff in to kick off?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but not right now. We still got 60, 90, days. There's some stuff kicking off. Don't get me wrong, guys. We've also had 75 days of rain, but I hope I answered your question there, Nick. Yes, the market is a part of that equation, but if you know your cost, don't ever price yourself to the market. Price yourself to your cost and take some time. Know your cost. You have to. That's how you're ever going to even know what's happening at the end of the job, right? And what's left for you and your team, or however that's supposed to. We just had a K likes. We got 5 minutes. Dadgum, I'm on a timer. Anybody got a question while you guys are in here? This is the first time we've done this. Drop your comment down below. Let me hit one more here off my random run and gun. How do you carve out time for strategic planning when you're stuck in the day-to-day grind of billing, phone calls, and being on the job site? Boy, howdy. That is a question. Literally, I'm living the same scenario. Non-negotiable time, non-negotiable meetings. You have got to set yourself. Those meetings are important. Those planning meetings are like everything happens in our world in 90-day cycles, right? So if you want to start something right now, 90 days from now is when you're really going to start feeling the effects. And it takes time, and it takes a lot of time. But billing, it sounds like you've got a couple billing, phone calls, and being on the job site. It sounds like you may need to pick somebody out and maybe sit down and go, okay, this is everything I've got on me. Just literally going through it myself right now. And this is everything that's on me. What needs to be on me? Well, I need to be handling the phone calls with production. I need to be out there on the job site to make sure we're staying on our estimate. But do I really need to be billing the work? Do I understand? Is that maybe somebody in our admin office, or maybe we can create a position if there's a couple other things that we can get off of you. So delegate, number one, delegate tasks so we can actually take time for that hour meeting, because I understand that first couple of months trying to fit in strategic planning meetings, and you're out there and your phone's on the freaking table the entire time. You've got to hit it do not disturb for 45 minutes and give them your undivided attention, because the strategic plan for your business it's got to come out of your head. And if you're asking these people to help you, well, you've got to give them the time to do so, right? So last question here. Oof. How do you communicate to your spouse or family that long hours are temporary sacrifice for long-term freedom when they're feeling neglected now? Man, that's a deep question. That is literally a deep question, especially for myself, because we'll be 10 years, starting our 10th year in August. Like, it's hard. It's hard to communicate that even if it's a temporary job. Well, I would sit down and go, hey, I did this yesterday. Actually, when we went down and Will went with me to go look at a job, and this is kind of how I view this. But the job's way off in the woods, and I mean way off in the woods. No phone service, no internet, no Casey's gas station within 10-minute trip that our guys are used to dealing with, right? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to stick an office out here. It's 8.5 miles from a highway on dirt road, 9 creek crossings. This is pretty intimidating to look at just to communicate. And then I've got to ask a guy to go work out here, and then I'm gonna have to put an office. Anyhow, what I'm getting at is I didn't even want to ask my guys to put themselves in that 2 hour. It just didn't fit what we're trying to do. But at the employee level is where I was trying to cover that. But as the entrepreneur level, if you're, man, me and Sarah have actually got a 4-part exclusive little only here, I guess. Me and Sarah are going to sit down and do a 4-part series on marriage and business and how we kind of walked through it, navigated it, because it was extremely tough. It wasn't freaking rainbows and unicorns. A lot of the time it was hard stuff. And it was 2 people trying to not give up on each other. And it was difficult. And it was very hard for me to communicate. Hey, look, because your spouse is sitting there, oh, this is more important than me. So you have to communicate the importance. As a man, I kind of had to do it with my wife. Look, my main job is to provide. So I'm out here. This is me showing my love to you and and the family. Like, yes, there is some time that they deserve from your schedule, and they should set your schedule, right? So like, yeah, I get it. You're working super, super long hours, but you have got to find one night a week or on the weekend and set some non-negotiable family time. And I have been trying to do that, especially since this started this year, for Tuesdays and Thursdays, trying to be home for 5 o'clock. I don't care what's going on. Daddy's home. We're going to hang out. I haven't got, me and Sarah over the years have been more business partners, more time spent as business partners than husband and wife. And that's extremely tough, I got to say. And so communication and compromise is the number one thing. It's sitting down and going, hey, I need to tell you how I feel. And if that's not comfortable, heck, I can't tell you how many times I've communicated to Sarah, and this may sound absolutely silly, but within an email of how I'm feeling about, how a meeting went. Maybe you and your spouse don't communicate great face to face, and texting is more of your form of communication. I understand we're in that 21st century, and that's how a lot of people. Do whatever you got to do to get the emotion out, to ensure that they feel important, but they also understand and support what you're doing over here for them. Is for them at the end of the day, all for your family, right? So I hope those are some questions that helped you guys. A few quick call to actions. Come on back. Go subscribe to the Psychon YouTube channel if you wouldn't mind. And while you're over there on YouTube, check out Blue Collar Business Podcast. We're on YouTube. I think we've hit 5K subs on that side of things. We're here on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, bluecollarbusinesspodcast.com. You can sit there completely free. You don't have to have a subscription. Completely free. Listen and watch full episodes from there. Read all the blogs on who I'm bringing, why I'm bringing them on. But if you have a subscription, please drop a follow and a rating on the show on whatever platform you've been listening to us on. It means more than you know. And I look to do these hopefully a couple of times, and definitely get these out there a little bit more and get some more interactive comments going back and forth, and hopefully help some folks. So what else we got? I think that's about it for today. I have got a podcast every Wednesday, 5 a.m. comes out every single week, but I film at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Wednesdays. in the afternoon, and we've got a pretty cool little podcast coming up here in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to jump off here, guys. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out. And till next time, we'll see ya. Boom. Boom.
In the stream.
I've got a couple ideas.
Yeah.
I've got ideas.